because gigs in England are really shitty paid. Really badly paid.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Wonder Cello podcast, of the Cello podcast. I'm here today with Leander Kippenberg, an old friend. Actually, we lived also together, right?
Yes, we did.
So, yes, please tell a bit about you. What are you doing in the moment? And yeah.
Okay. Hi. It's really cool. It's really nice you asked me to come. And as you said, we know each other for quite a while. It was really nice to suddenly get that you got in touch with me and asking me questions such a long time since we actually had some contact. And since, I don't know, seems like this situation opens quite a few doors for everyone in one or the other way. And what I have been doing, what I'm doing at the moment, basically I have, since last year I have finished my 2 years academies, like an apprenticeship at the Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie, which was a great experience with lots of traveling like throughout the world, playing all 9 Beethoven symphonies back and forth. It was a really wonderful experience with Paavo Järvi. And that was one big part. And but since then, basically since March last year, I've been freelancing, which was I was very motivated to start this freelancing career, which somehow got interrupted by some dubious incidents in this world. So
just to be sure,
changed.
So we are in the middle of the Corona pandemic. It's now the beginning of 2021, so we're still in it. Just for the case, someone will listen to it 10 years later.
Exactly. Basically, we have almost pretty much 1 year of this situation now. Yeah. Pretty exactly 1 year. And so for me, interestingly enough, I have been really active locally, which I always thought I would never do, because I always thought, okay, I'm now here in Bremen, but can I do this apprenticeship? I want to go back to London and I want to, I don't know, had some big dreams or whatever, and sort of neglected this opportunity. And because I was kind of forced to be local, I did start and I did call people, colleagues. I did meet lots of friends individually, of course, because groups are not allowed. And nice opportunities have come up. I have also been starting to tell other people that I do like writing music.
You're using the time to compose music.
Exactly. Maybe you remember. I mean, always remember you wrote stuff, but I was kind of little bit interested in it, but I wasn't really giving it much attention, sort of in my very little room for myself. But I've actually I started also practicing a bit of piano and doing kind of opening up myself because of all this time to explore a few things that kind of have been lost because of this intense study, which we obviously all did. This principal study. And so in this way, basically saying people, I do also write, and just putting out the word, I did get asked to write a jingle. You know what a jingle is, like for a little children's show. And
nice.
A trailer, background music for a trailer, and it was really lots of fun because it's not so complicated, and I don't know, I was kind of awaking my inner child.
Okay, awesome.
And do this, and then I just also had contact with a school that the Kammerphilharmonie is working with, and contacted their staff and said I'm basically having time, basically just doing this kind of stuff. And then now I got opportunity to write arrangements for their kind of string orchestra and this kind of stuff. So that's what I'm doing at this moment.
Okay, awesome. So anyway, you're doing a lot of stuff, the most of the time now. The theme I want to talk about mostly is so you're German and you
my German. So I am German. Yeah.
You're German. Yeah, you're German, but you moved to London.
I did, yes.
Because to start your bachelor there. So tell us about more about that, your motivation to go to England.
To go to England. I had a few factors. One was I was learning with Michael Sanderling for a long time. I was with him almost 6 years. And
as a young student, right? So you were still going to school?
With 15, I went to him, and then I was I was 20, and I had a girlfriend at this time, and she was in a very similar situation, and we kind of felt very excited to do something to actually, I don't know, it was just this feeling to go somewhere else, to experience something else, to have a bit of a gap, like a distance between maybe our world here. And one really big reason was to learn English. I thought I was sure it was really useful to learn English.
It is.
And it was. I think it is. Yeah.
And, I'm too jealous of you because my English is not on that level like yours, and I still try to improve it. But so I missed that opportunity somehow to go abroad and improve my English. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. I'm watching a lot of Game of Thrones. That's helping too.
Yeah, but it's no comparison to being forced to basically understand a really fast-talking British teacher
for sure
with very complicated language to understand it in the beginning. Oh man, so this was tough as well. But so this was one motivation, and then in some ways it was just for me, somehow I was really excited because I really believed with all these changes, with a new language, a new country, I could kind of make a new start. And I had the feeling that I really wanted it. I really wanted to, I don't know, I felt like I was so like, I don't know, in this German world, I always felt not quite like, I don't know if I can say, I don't know, I felt a bit, you know, as you know, we both didn't finish school and it wasn't all going so well. So, and I felt, I don't know, not like failed, but just a little bit, I wanted a new start. And this was for me the really good opportunity to kind of make a new start and meet new people. And yeah, I really don't regret it, obviously. I mean, the adventure started, but my relationship ended very quickly. But still, I stayed and I learned.
And in which conservatorium you went?
So I went to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, exactly.
And there you did your bachelor and also your master?
Yeah, I was very lucky that because I actually studied already 2 years in Frankfurt, right? I studied the diploma. But everything changed to the bachelor system at this time. So I had this, my teacher from London, she saw me and she really believed I needed that time and gave me basically 2 more years. So they could have made me start in the 3rd year of the bachelor, but she said, oh, it would be really useful for me to start. And this was a big gift because I think I really needed this time, and she was really thoroughly working with me. So she basically gave me a full scholarship for the whole bachelor to study, to start right from the beginning. And I did start right from the beginning. So that was. So
there's already the difference to the German system. So how much normally you have to pay to go to do a bachelor in London?
So I think it was just the video stopped. I think you asked me how much I had to pay for how much the tuition fees are, how much we have to pay for studying.
Right.
Yeah. So this also changed throughout the years. So in the beginning, when I studied, it was £3,300 a year. So that is so the difference is as well. It is not, you don't have two semesters. You have three trimesters, like 3 terms, and so it's like 3 months per term. And then is kind of the last 3 months. So 3, 6, 9. And then the last 3 months are basically holidays as well. Something like this. And anyway, so I started and the tuition fee was 3,500, 3,300 something. And then I think after my bachelor was finished, the fees changed to 9,500. Mm-hmm. And so they did that. Which I'm sure was, so I did that. And
okay, so but that's not a lot of money. What you hear, like in comparison to America, for example.
No, it is because basically it is the they were the European tuition fees. So it was for Europe. Now it has changed. I think I'm not quite sure how the conditions are now, but it is international fees. The international fees are around 15,000, I think. So that is pretty,
because of the Brexit.
It's pretty much like America. So international people had to pay that money but one thing to say is that, there's differences as well that, you do have, basically 2 possibilities if you don't have the money, because who has 9,000 if the parents are not rich or something. So one major thing is that you can get a student loan, which is almost like BAföG, which but you have to pay basically all of it back. But if you don't earn any money, I think sometime you don't have to pay it back anymore. So obviously you do want to earn some money at some point. So you have the same problem like in America, that you end your studies and you have a huge debt, which can happen with BAföG as well, right? If you get BAföG, you also usually have to pay some back, depending what it is.
Yeah, at least you only have to pay back the half.
Yeah, you have to pay back half. So this is a bit of a difference. But in the schools in Britain, at least in London, is works a lot with scholarships. So there are many private sponsors, and my school, I'm not 100% sure how other schools work, but in my school, the school was funded a lot by sponsors, especially the students. So the students would often have an individual sponsor. So I also had a sponsor basically who would pay for my tuition fees and sometimes even my maintenance money for maintenance. So, and I would have to write a letter twice a year or something like that in the beginning and the end of the year. So, and we would meet up. So there would be sponsor parties, and we'd be drinking wine and talk to them, and we can invite them to concerts. So that was the deal.
Yeah.
Which I think, which is a good thing.
But
because
you only played concerts. You didn't have to do special kind of service to offer.
No. No, the funny thing was actually what my sponsor was saying. So no, it wasn't mine, but someone told me his sponsor was saying, just don't, yeah, I'm happy to sponsor you. Just don't invite me to any concert. Some also just don't want to have anything to do with it. They just want to do it. So they just want to, they just do it. Yeah. And so I felt this was really good for good students, because who gets a scholarship is the talented ones, the ones that, that are worth investing.
Right.
It's a bit like this. And then the people with money, which is like, I am also critical about this whole thing, because every school needs money. So my school needed money as well, obviously. And so what happens is, especially with the money thing, that, so I hope I'm not going to be like, now like on the blacklist of, because I'm saying that.
Nobody is watching this, don't worry.
The truth will come out, the truth about the school. No, anyway, basically what also happens, I think, is, they do need people that pay the full tuition fees. So that as long as people can pay, often they also get in, which means the level gets lower just because the school needs money, which is, of course, it's good if people can study in such a amazing institution. On the other hand, they do get their degree, but actually they can't really play. So no, it's not true. This is mean, but they do get a high degree. But on the other hand, I don't know. There are lots of things. This is on the other hand, they do get a very high quality degree. On the other hand, sometimes the standard of those people that finish school can be, under particular circumstances, not as high. So there's a big gap between those that get sponsored and that are really amazing, and that also get very lifted, like elevated with opportunities. And the other side are a lot of people that basically just are there to pay the fees, and that can be a downside.
Mm. Yeah, but do you see the same stuff in America, where you have amazing talented musicians, and then really, like this gap from musicians where you're just realizing, okay, they just really have rich parents.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know what to think about it, because obviously, like, they do get a high quality degree, which is which is worth a lot. I mean, I just imagine the situation. In some countries, if you have a degree from the Guildhall School of Music and Drama and you studied with a renowned professor, this is worth a lot. Mm. And they do learn a lot as well. It's just on some level, I have experienced that this is about the opportunities that the ones that are not the showcase type of person, they do not get many opportunities, which I think is unfair sometimes. Mm.
Yeah. So what would you say is, like, from the environment and maybe also the what the people think about music? Like, what would you say is the difference between German and England? Or it's not such a huge difference? In the school, or just in general, like outside the school, or what? Maybe just both, like first in school and then outside. Okay. So yeah, obviously I was a bit older in London then, but I did study back to back, one a little bit in Germany and then in England. So I think it's always really important what your main professor is like if right. that is I think in music still one of the basis. It's the number one thing. Yeah,
it's the number one thing.
It doesn't matter what school you are. You need the teacher have to be the best, the perfect fit
for you. The perfect fit, as you say, exactly. I think it will be. I don't know. It's with this. In music, I think it's still we need this close relationship with a teacher. Right. Yeah. So in these terms, I experienced very different teachers as well. So I came from. Can you cut that out, right?
No, I will let us in. People should just know that not every not every teacher is a perfect fit.
One difference that I did feel between the environments was somehow the internationality. So in London, it was really international. So it basically, I mean, obviously we all spoke English, but most people spoke bad English because basically, I don't know, 60-70% were from some countries, from Spain, Poland, Italy, whatever, like Portugal, mostly European, obviously, but then of course also Asian countries, and some from Canada, America, whatever. Like, it was so international.
Ah, but I experienced the same thing actually in Leipzig, and when I did my bachelor, it's at least 50%. I would also say international.
So as well. Okay, no,
but
that's cool.
Maybe I think maybe you also experienced it way more international because you were also like a foreigner. And so
I was a foreigner.
Foreigner. So probably you connected mostly with other foreigner. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, actually a mixture.
Mixture, right?
A mixture, yeah. But true. Actually, that does feel different if you are a foreigner in a country. So
yeah,
that is a good experience.
In what way? Yeah. Tell me.
It's difficult to describe. Somehow there is you're participating. You're experiencing another culture. So you're basically guest in another culture, and you don't realize before how much you are part of a culture yourself. So if you live in Germany and you don't feel really like the bottom of a different culture, even though obviously London is really intercultural, like it's hugely multicultural, no? Multicultural. And nevertheless, I did, of course, also, like, it's still British, a British city. So I did really feel the bottom of this different mentality and this different culture as well. I love the tea. I still drink tea with milk. I always liked. No, but then of course also the whole mentality. That there is a difference. I do really feel a big difference. We can talk about it later as well. But so basically, to have that experience, to be put in another culture and experience, then suddenly like, to experience other people talking about you as the German guy, which like in Germany nobody says you're the German guy because the others are the English guy or the Spanish guy. So and in Germany, I don't know, you don't really feel how much you're part of the culture until you get taken out of it. So this I think is really nice for me now. I do feel I'm so open-minded to people from other cultures that when I see them, I don't feel any difference in how just because I know how it feels to be on a different ground. Yeah, of course, everything, we should all be open-minded and there should be no difference. But there is a culture in a country. It is just like that. You can't be in Germany and not feel that there is somehow a bottom German culture lined underneath, right?
Sure.
It is somehow there. It is somehow there. I did feel it there. Maybe I'm.
No, I can so say I never. That's just logical, of course. How can you do the experience? And what was it? Was it experienced you the stereotype, like people saying, "Oh, Leander the German, who is always in time, who is always working his ass off," or what? Yeah,
well, basically, one reason I wanted a new start, because I was usually in Germany. I was usually the guy that was like always late, and I would probably more the British type of person in Germany, and in Britain, in London. And I was the kind of serious, no humor.
Really?
Sometimes they did say, but they also often said I wasn't really German. So that was a compliment.
Oh, that was a compliment, not to be German. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I did have that. They did. I did get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what experience do you situations where maybe there were also situations where you felt like, oh yeah, that's actually how we do it in Germany, but here it's totally different.
To be honest, I think I was in such a mess when I came that I didn't really have a comparison. So I basically was very open-minded. I was very searching for new experiences. So I didn't feel too solid in any direction. So I didn't experience it so much. In many ways, obviously, it's the language. So I didn't get the jokes. I really didn't get the jokes. So they were doing all these jokes.
The British humor is also kind of dry, right?
But it's very witty. So basically, in England, they're very. It obviously is the dark humor, and it's ironic, and big quality. So this is something I think I found in the interaction with the people, the British, like the people from London, and also in how they have kind of the relationship with making music. I found there something that was similar. So, which is they have a very good level of self. What's the word? Self-irony.
Irony, yeah.
And I like it. So they don't take themselves too serious. And this is something I think I enjoyed, because there's flexibility. So I always had this feeling of the people in England, and also, for example, especially also my school in England, there was some open-mindedness and some flexibility. And that, the way that your director, like the music director, okay, he always said the wrong name, but he'd always said my name. And he's always said Lysander. Hello, Lysander. And I met him on the toilet and things like so. There's something, and you always say you always say the first name. So these kind of things, there's something about this flexibility and open-mindedness, and the whole philosophy about about London is the open-mindedness, because they know very much if they are open-minded, they have resources, because if they are open-minded, things will come. And they are an island, right? If they are not open-minded, I think they have very limited resources.
Now, what I'm experiencing a lot is that anyway, we are so surrounded by musicians, and most of them, they're really open-minded because they travel a lot. But when you meet people who live more in a village, more not like in a city, and
I understand. Yeah,
you can be surprised what they think, what different kind of view they have on the world. Yeah.
I mean, of course, I have to also say that London is a different place overall from, I think, most of England. So it's like everyone says, London is an own country, basically, because it is, I think if I would go somewhere in the countryside or something, it can be also very, very maybe uninspiring. But I haven't experienced it so much. Anyway, basically, I can only say from what I felt, and I did feel in the school particular, I felt the open-mindedness about also like including different like, for example, this mindfulness, and there's in school, like they're incorporating lots of ideas that are totally normal, right? They speak about like it was so new for me that how my teacher was speaking about the way my teacher was speaking about music, which was very I'm sure not everyone does that, but it was not so conceptual. Like, it was more intuitive, and somehow, obviously, my teacher she's one of a kind. And
what's her name?
I studied with Louise Hopkins.
Okay.
Yeah, with Louise Hopkins in London, and but I didn't feel it only with her. I felt that this was a dynamic that was going through all the teachers. They are thinking about, you know, it's difficult to say what it really is, but here in Germany, it's also, I don't know, maybe you can tell me, but they talk a lot about flow and energy and energy especially. So this is like something that was very very essential in a way, like. Just that, like, without something, without any, just the basic feeling of the energy, just like that. That this is also already connected to to the creation of music, and what I was used to, and what basically I could not understand was this, for some reason, something I always thought I need to understand something about music.
Yeah.
It was really weird, but I had the feeling I need to understand something, and it wasn't enough to basically be just feeling it. So
yeah, I think it's, I had this too. So I think we are a little bit traumatized there from our teacher we had, because that's really depending what kind of teacher you have. But how you're describing it, I think in general, probably you will find more teachers here in Germany who are thinking more in theory about music, or are really focused on Bach. You have to play this in this style and this in the other style because of da. Like, they have to be always in some kind of music historical argument to play it that way. But actually, for example, so I did my master actually yesterday, my master degree by Wolfgang Emanuel Schmidt, and he's so focused on colors, like he's really focused totally on music, and never like the composer wrote there a crescendo or decrescendo. Of course, he also tell like, okay, you should play what it's written, but most importantly, you should not play boring. Most importantly, you should try to change the colors all the time. When like some phrases is a second time where you repeat a musical phrase, then do something differently, just at least dynamically, or just with the articulation. And But yeah, I'm more interested in because you talked so much about energy. And that's actually, I cannot remember that some teacher talked about it so specifically about energy. So what they want to say with that, like the flow of music.
So basically, I remember very much the moment as well when it was very weird that my teacher said that, because I was in this thing, I was playing Walton cello concerto, and I was a scale upwards. I was sort of trying to understand what that means, because I kind of could not. This was really a switch for me. It was a switch into a different world, really. But I mean, I have to say one more thing, which is besides all this, maybe that's why also I'm so a bit influenced in this thinking, is because I was very early, since I was in London, I started martial arts with a very amazing teacher. So that also was influencing me a lot. And but this is another story in a way. Right. So, but the moment with my teacher was when it was really funny, because I was thinking there was somehow I was thinking about this phrase, and I was feeling very frustrated because on some level I just didn't understand. I did not understand the meaning. Yeah. The meaning. So, and then she said, this was so funny. She said like, what do you mean? What do you mean the meaning? It was hilarious. She said, what do you mean the meaning? For me, it's just a whoosh. And that was amazing, because I thought like, oh yeah, it's true. It doesn't have to be in that form. It doesn't have to have a name. It doesn't have to have anything. Yeah, it can just be, you can be aware that something is happening in the space. And that is music as well. Music doesn't always have to be, like, this is, it's so, in a way, music can, like, for me, music can be so much change can happen in such a little. You cannot possibly put names on it. It's not possible. For me, it's not possible. So and I have the feeling, because I tried so hard to somehow, I don't know, like understand it, that I forgot to actually listen, to actually try to understand what it could, what it could mean for me, like how I can. So this was basically the thing. And then I thought, oh yeah, maybe that's enough to just basically have that. And that is for me, that was her idea of it being just energy, that you have the opportunity to do a gesture or to make something small. So she's always talking about this space and all this kind of stuff, and space, and that sort of all this thinking. And that was very much an eye opener for me, a lot. Yeah, a big thing.
How much people think in England about different kind of music? Because in Germany we say like there's pop music, and there's classical music and jazz music, and it's like in categories thinking. And do the people there are thinking more like, oh, it's just music, you don't have to label it?
I mean, I'm sure, but I don't know. I think, I mean, my teacher, she would not play pop music. Okay. But to be honest, there is something still very traditional. Like basically, even though I talked about this being open-minded, I mean, it's not just because it's open-minded doesn't mean it's easy-going. So it's not like you can play anything. So in a way, my teacher as well, and like there's some basically this is difficult to say, because I come with my teacher. She also comes from a particular background. So So basically, there is some real seriousness to it as well, to classical music. So it's not, you don't mix these things up actually. So there is some really seriousness, because it's a big history. There's a Hungarian school as well, at least from my teacher. So it's like she has been learning also, like going to this protocol thing with Ferenc Rados and all these really, really, really like the Kortak school basically. So it's a very classical, serious musicians. So in a way, I don't think that is too well mixed up. Maybe one thing if you ask this question, one thing that I was already thinking that I would probably say that as a difference is I think there is more, so in the pieces that are played from students. So actually that would be something I would like to know from you, because the pieces, basically there's a curriculum. Or should we talk about this? The curriculum of the school. So basically,
yeah. What does this mean? Curriculum.
Okay, curriculum means basically there's in your study, so bachelor and master, there's a plan of what you are going through. So which pieces and this kind. So there's
which specific pieces you have to.
There is a list of pieces, that you have to play.
Yeah, that's a huge difference to the German.
Huge difference.
Yeah,
I think so too,
in Germany you can play whatever you like. There are only like technical exams where you have to play scales, and that's actually all. That's all actually. Yeah.
But how many technical exams, like in which like
you have every year maybe one, so you have like maybe 3 or 4 or maybe even, I don't remember, or even I think only 2 scales, and then more importantly for auditions you have to play how to describe, the when you do an audition for an orchestra, then they
like an audition program, like a fake audition or what?
Yeah, you have to play orchestra music, audition pieces.
Like orchestra excerpts.
Excerpts, that's the word. Yeah, excerpts you have to play. Yes.
Okay. Well. Okay.
And then in the bachelor exam, then they say, okay, you have to play something from Bach, some solo suite, and then some romantic piece. So, but I played in my bachelor exam actually 2 pieces of my own compositions. So,
okay, yeah, cool. No, what I actually wanted to say to this, what I don't know if this is a difference, but at least in my class, so I do have to say, I have, like, I sometimes don't exactly know how much I can compare it to the whole of Guildhall, or like not even to speak of the whole of England, because I did live in in the
bubble,
bubble, yeah, of course, with
like everybody,
teacher.
Of course.
But, like everybody, and the thing you do with your teacher. But there was one thing that is for everybody in the school, which is from the whole 4-year bachelor, you do have 2 times a year you have an exam, and you have to go through a whole scale system. So you do all the keys, all the scales.
Wow.
And in exact, so you start with, your first exam is probably going to be, it's going to be 4 keys and double stops, and double stops is always 2 to a bow, and you have 8 to a bow scales. So that's the beginning. Then the second is, so you have to have 2 octaves to a bow, like 16 notes, and 4 other scales, and then the next. So you can choose. It was fun. You can choose which scales you start. So if you start with F sharp minor, then at the end you don't have to do it again. But in the beginning you are worse at scales, so you can choose which one to do. So, and this was I think for me amazing, and it was also an amazing thing that every teacher has to do it with their students, because if student goes to the class, to the exam, and the other teachers see that he just can't play any scale, it's not very good for the teacher. So in a way, this kind of control, in a way, that is set up from the whole institution, that I thought was really well thought. I think this was a really good thing. It helped me a lot because I really needed it as well. And so I went through the whole scale system with sixths and octaves and scales. And then there would be also choices in the different exams of different pieces. So we had some, I don't remember exactly one. I think you can read it in the internet if you like. So some exams where I think usually in the half year it was a technical exam, then you would have to play maybe a Boccherini sonata. Once we had to play a whole Bach suite. And sometimes you'd be having to play sonata and sort of like this kind of stuff. And at the end of the bachelor, you could choose in the half year. I remember you could choose which way, if you go, if you want to have a, same as you said, a fake audition program with orchestra excerpts. So basically exactly this. If you think of applying for, I don't know, orchestra jobs or apprenticeships or something like this, academies, or you could have a solo program. So which would be, which was the Boccherini and Bach suite. So you had this as a choice. But what I also think was good is that I played many little pieces. So maybe my teacher was particular in that she thought you learn a lot about with little pieces that are not too difficult and that you can kind of play through. And
what do you mean by little pieces?
Like Après un rêve or virtuoso pieces.
Okay.
This kind of stuff, yeah. So quite a few of those.
So
I think they're really useful.
In school, you really have a clear plan, like what to do.
We do have a clear plan, and we have a clear marking system. And this marking system is with percent, like there's 100%, and then you have you can reach, I don't know, distinction, extinction, distinction.
And I think that will surprise the whole world. In Germany, we don't. We have not a clear system, not a clear plan, actually. You are, so it's great. You can.
Okay. Yeah, sir.
Yeah,
I do have to say, I'm not 100% sure if that is Guildhall or London.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I think it was because my ex-girlfriend was at the other school. She was at the Royal College. I think they have it too. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. But, so in Germany, you can choose when you want to do whatever. And then you have, classes you can choose from to earn credit points. Like you can, for example, I'm interested into film composing, so I was doing classes in film composing or then conducting actually, or jazz piano.
Okay.
In improvisation, string improvisation, and but on the other hand, I have to say that sometimes there was a lack of a plan, like because that it's kind of helpful, especially when you're young, to have like kind of structure. Yeah, good structure.
I completely agree. I have to say two things. One is we also have this elective subject. So basically, this plan and this structure, what I really think, and this is my school was especially focused on this, is the principal study. So it is the plan that you have for your instrument. So it's very instrument based. What I think lacks on structure as well, which is exactly this other subject. So is I don't know, like integrated in all this principal study is, I think, a kind of good quality subjects with harmony and maybe repertoire session, like maybe listening to music. I don't know, this kind of stuff. So I could choose as well a few things, and some things were a bit random. So you choose this for a year, and then you get a little bit of philosophy, and then it's gone. Then you choose the next one. You do a bit of, but this is I had also conducting. I did 2 years, and I had Baroque cello even, and so this is similar, I think.
And then when you did your master, there's also, it's like similar, or it's you have also like a strict plan, scales, exam for scales.
Yeah, the master's is really different from the bachelor. So this in our school the bachelor was really with very, very structured, also with the principle. The master's is you have a lot of choice. Sometimes you need to just prepare a recital of whatever pieces you want to do, and you have to do a lot of work by yourself. So basically which I think this was a really cool thing. So I'm really praising my school now. But so I think this was a cool thing. Basically, we had to write self-reflective accounts. So we had to start our master's degree by writing down about I don't know how many words, 2,500 words or something, about ourselves, about what we think we have improved, what we think are our weaknesses, what we think are our strengths, how we think we are going to improve them, and what we want to do to improve it. So this kind of stuff. And then we'd be talking about, we would also have a session with our deputy head of strings and stuff, and talk about this. And we had to, so there was a lot of work we had to do ourselves. We had also a subject was called teaching skills. So we had to have put together a whole portfolio of different things we had to do. We had to be teaching. We had to listen to other people teach. And I think maybe even some research. Yeah, and some research. So that was very different. Felt very different. So we had to basically I think the message about this was to be much more self-sufficient, like to work by yourself, and also to be so the aim was that, and that I think is the big difference. The aim in maybe it's not a big difference, maybe it's the same, John, but that I felt was something they put a big emphasis on in my school, was that during the masters you kind of get into the mindset of being able to network, and basically you had to organize a concert. So there was one part, and you had to write about it. So you had to do all this thing and film it. You had to do this. This is amazing. So just to get the, butt kick to do it. And then you had to write this portfolio about teaching skills, going to a different school, talking to the teacher. You had a teaching job, basically. You had to you had to work with a student for a while, and then write about every session, every lesson. So, and then we had to visit many seminars about different subjects. So there were maybe 10 seminars, and we had to see at least 6. I think I saw about 3. And we had to go to these seminars actually, and they were all about different things. Like, for example, one was about internet presence. That should you have a website or not? What do you do? And this kind of seminars. I don't know, how was that in your school?
No, we didn't had such things. What you're describing, not so specific. You have always, of course, the possibilities to do it, but you're not forced to do it. We had. You talked about your master now, right?
Yeah, that was the masters. Yeah, only the master. Yeah.
So. My master I did here in Germany. So that's, again, it's a really different situation because I studied in Weimar, and they have like a special program. So I cannot talk about general in Germany, because I know that when you do your master, you still have other subjects to do. You have to teach also, and different stuff you have to do. Not so much like when you do your bachelor, but you have to do some stuff. In Weimar, there's a really special kind of master. Personally, I liked it a lot because I didn't have to do anything. I could really just focus on get my cello lessons and practicing cello, and I didn't have any other subjects. I only had to play chamber music, so I had to do 4 testats. Can you say this? Like an exam. Exams. Yeah, I had to do 4 exams with an ensemble, and this ensemble I could also we as an ensemble could choose to which teacher we want to go, and so I had every semester I had one chamber music project. And that was everything. Nothing more. I only have to write a master. How do you say this? Exam, not exam, like a doctor. Master, not the doctor, but
like a work, like
a 30 page. So, but here's the thing.
A paper.
Paper, yeah, you have to write a paper, a master paper.
Kind of a paper.
Yeah,
so not really a paper.
So it's not a science. It's not a science work. But and you can even choose between writing 30 pages or writing only 10 pages. But then, to addition to that, when you do your master exam with your cello, playing the master concert recital, then you have to do a moderation and a small kind of talking about the pieces and so on.
Fun. We had the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we also had this, and I was also doing it. It was called. We had to either write a paper, like a work, like a written work, a long one or a shorter one, and then had to do a lecture recital with talking and presenting. So it's very similar then, actually, this thing.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, but it's the master. So for me, it was actually lucky that it was this way, because I already got my work, my position here in Stuttgart Philharmonic Orchestra. Since 1 year I'm here. So, and Weimar and Stuttgart, it's like a 5-hour or 6-hour way to go by train, and so I could not be there all the time, of course. So
you could have been doing lots of writing work in the train, though.
Yeah. No, but anyway, then Corona happened, and that was a different story. Any online classes, not for me, but I had some online classes, some online teaching with my teacher, and it was really funny because actually the most of the time we talked about the color painting of my wallpaper, because he was such impressed and asked me, hey, actually you could come to my place and paint the walls because it looks really nice. Yes, he was like, oh. That's right. No, but the issue is, it's ridiculous now with the pandemic to do professional, like, online classes, because through Skype the microphone is compromised, so the sound quality is, you lose so much sound quality that
I think so too. Is shit. I think the only thing you can actually learn, I think this would be the only thing that I think is possible to learn with online teaching, is to have internet presence, like to basically like to learn how to perform in front of a computer, basically. But not even the teachers know how to do that, because I think often, like especially our teacher generation, they also haven't really done it. So, but that could be interesting.
I'm interested how often teachers talked at your school. How often they talked about presence on stage, or actually just how you perform, how it looks, and not what you play, just the look of your performance.
The look. Oh well, basically, this was an intense subject with my teacher. Yeah. So basically, she did, I think. Well, I think the funny thing is you said presence, like stage presence. And it's like, what is this presence? Is that the way you look? Or is that, I don't know, is that basically the energy that you bring onto the stage? So, which of course, it always has something to do with how you also look and move. But the beginning, maybe like and it doesn't matter where it starts. Maybe you can stand very upright, but actually feel very crumpled inside. Or you you stand very crumpled, but you feel enormously powerful. Right?
Right.
So I don't exactly. So one is it can be both. But in my class, with my teacher, we had performance class every week, every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So, and she wasn't the only teacher that did this. So there were, 2 other cello teachers as well that did this. So she would get all her students into a class, and we'd be performing the pieces that we are learning. Sometimes not everyone's playing, because we are quite a lot of people in the class at some point. Yeah. And then
everybody can talk about it. Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
Nobody can talk about. No, it's just her.
Just her. Okay, that's actually a good thing.
Yeah. So that was just her. And sometimes she wouldn't even she was experimenting. So sometimes she wouldn't say anything, and she would just not comment and just leave it like it is. Actually on purpose for everyone in the class. So particularly in when it gets to exam time. So
how often was she teaching? Like, how often the teachers give a lesson? Like once a week or twice a week, or every
once a week?
Once a week.
Usually once a week. Yeah.
Once a week, yeah. Because in Germany, I experienced a lot of teachers, professors, who teaching every 2 weeks, because the system allows them to do it, and I can understand it, because it's just, of course, much more, how to say, easygoing for as a teacher if you're just teaching every 2 weeks and then you teach a little bit longer, but then after 2 days you finished, or you come every week, but I'm not so convinced of that, because especially for people who are younger, I think they need more better to have once a week lesson than twice a week.
Even my teacher, even what she did, and I think not many do this. She was splitting my lessons, and I had 2 lessons a week. Sometimes even 3.
Wow.
Just because basically she was doing, a complete technical rebuild, and she was just believing that she needs to check up on me every single day.
That's
no, and
amazing.
I had 2 to 3 lessons a week, then often 2. So I would have, in the bachelor you have 1 hour lessons, and in the masters you have 1.5 hours lessons.
Oh.
So there's also
Huh? I only experienced that in the master, at least, or actually in the bachelor. You can be lucky, or not. You can be lucky, but no, it's kind of usual to have every 2 weeks 1.5 hours of cello lessons.
But then, for example, how do you know? Like, do you know how many lessons you get in a year?
Yeah, there's a plan, and so actually the plan is actually that you have every week 1 hour. But yeah, I'm not so sure about it. But there is a plan somehow. Yeah, but okay, nobody. So every teacher is how it's doing. It's like how it's like.
Yeah, how they like it. But how like it. In a way, it's important, no? Because I also remember stories from my school that students were just saying, "Well, my teacher kind of doesn't give me the lessons I actually have the right to receive," and then they would be going to the head of strings or the director or something and say, "I didn't have enough lessons, but I'm paying for it. You know, tuition fees are expensive," and then. I remember like one with a violist that I was living with, he would go and say, I did not get all my things. And then you can either I think you can even get money back or,
what? Really?
Yeah, something like that. You can get, something like that.
A refund.
And, you get a refund because you didn't get the lessons. You pay for exactly the lessons that you should get. And,
but again, I didn't quite catch it. So if you don't have a scholarship, then you have to pay for a year round about what kind of money?
At the moment, if you are in Britain, if you're a British citizen, you have to pay about £9,500.
£9,500. Okay, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So, and before, like until maybe 2014 or I don't know, 15 or something like that. And so basically for my whole bachelor, it was only 3,500. Okay. And then they changed it.
Okay. Yeah, in America, in America, it's 30,000.
30?
30. Yeah. Because I went to Boston there and I thought about going there, doing my master.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. You also see people who are in depth.
I know. Hundreds of
thousands dollars after they finish their bachelor, and normally you would use this kind of money maybe to buy a house or something, but no, it's a crazy system. It's really crazy.
I don't know what it is for. Maybe it's just for them to. It's probably well done. So if you finish your studies, you are bound to be stuck in the system because you have to pay back. It's like the same thing as like, you get a mortgage, and then mortgage is a great thing, but actually you just have to pay back all this money that with interest. So with every mortgage, the state gets fatter.
It's crazy.
So it's a little bit like
there's trillions of dollars in America of student steps. Trillions.
Incredible. Trillions of dollars. How's it gonna work?
Yeah. Okay.
I think in Germany the BAföG is how much?
So we have to explain what is BAföG. What is BAföG in German?
Oh, what is BAföG? So basically, BAföG is like student loan, and I think if you're a pupil or something, you can also get it, and you get it completely free. But if you're a pupil, but if you're a student, you have to pay back some of it if you earn enough money or something.
Yeah, so it's also it's from the government, and if you get a job and you earn enough money, then you can pay off that loan, but you only have to pay the half of it. And also,
and a maximum of 14,000.
There's even a maximum. So there's even a maximum
because there's a maximum, and then it's interest free. Right?
That's really important. Interest free. Yeah. So in comparison, in Germany, it's really great if you don't have money.
That was the best sentence. In Germany.
No, but actually, I just remember, you know, when you're talking about scholarship in Germany, then the scholarship is never meant because everything's so cheap. Like to study in Germany, you have to pay like 300 or 600 per year. Yeah, 600 euro, so $700 maximum. And so when you will get a scholarship, it will be you always will use that money for living, for food, for new iPhone. No, of course for food and
holiday,
for living. Yeah, for the flat. And yeah, that's another question I wanted to ask you. So London is quite expensive, right? So, but your scholarship you had, you got also some money for that, for living, yes?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, I was really lucky. I was really, really, really lucky because I got, for my whole bachelor, I got a scholarship for my tuition fees and for my living. So I was completely covered and could completely focus on my studies. So that was really a big gift from my teacher really. So, and then in the masters, my teacher was kind of, in a way, she first promised me, so yeah, you don't have to worry. And then suddenly it was like, yeah, can you not get some money from Germany? And it's like, yeah, so it was okay. Basically for my masters, I got another BAföG. So I got Auslands-BAföG. So I got exactly 2 years again for maintenance. And I got a scholarship because the scholarship was, the tuition fee was high and it was over 9,000 at this time. So I got a scholarship. I think maybe that was why I got less scholarship, why I didn't get a full tuition fee, because the maintenance, tuition fees got higher suddenly in my master's, so like 9,000. And then I got only half of the tuition fees from the school, and the rest basically it was really good. Basically I got a lot from BAföG, but I also made a lot of auditions. So this is one thing which is probably very different here in Germany, is that there are lots of little foundations that basically every year loads and loads and loads of students, they all apply and they all audition for this trust, So basically lots of little foundations for Monsters Trust, charity of blah, 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 Queen Elizabeth, whatever. Anyway, so, and I did this as well. And then you hope that you get a bit of money there, and then you get 500 euros here, you get 1,200, pounds there. And then, so I kind of had at least my tuition fees from my school scholarship and from a few other foundations. Some I also didn't get. Many I didn't get. And the rest I got from BAföG basically. So it was sorted. But it is really expensive. So I didn't have much luxury or anything, but it was enough.
Yeah, so you didn't have to work as a waiter.
I didn't have to do any work.
Yeah,
which was quite amazing, because I also know people and I know a few people that were working as a waiter. And,
really?
Yeah.
I'm also surprised. So in Germany, you will never see a music student who have not enough money. He will never work as a waiter. He will do gigs. He will play in some orchestras, some projects, because in Germany it's really easy to find something. I was really surprised in America when I was in Boston to see a lot of music students in Burger King, McDonald's, working there, because really? I never, like in Germany, it's a privilege because you have such.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because gigs in England are really shitty paid. Really badly paid. In Germany, gigs are much better paid.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. Like if you play some church gig, like in England, it's worse worse paid if you also compare it to how much it costs to live there. So in Germany, that is more, let's say, valued in money. That's what the musicians do, and I think it's better paid. I'm sure of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously also probably depending where you live, it depends a bit on the competition as well. Like, I mean, if you live in the middle of London, you know, in the last shitty church, there are like 70 pianists trying to get a gig where they get like £30. I played for free in churches because you also need experience, and then you have a lunchtime recital. Yeah. And so you also do all this kind of stuff. So in a way, then Burger King is not bad.
Yeah. So in the moment you live in Bremen. It's a city in North Germany, but you planning maybe to go back to London, right? Or
yeah, that was basically, it was a big dream. I mean, it was my plan, and
there's a principal. There's a London Symphonic Orchestra.
There's a place open or what?
Yeah, there's an edition in March. I believe in the end of the March. I got
for what? Principal cello, no.
For cello, yes.
Like cello section.
Cello. Principal solo.
Oh, yeah. It's a big job, man.
No, don't be shy.
The biggest job in England. Yeah, don't be shy. I know. I mean, actually, I think I learned now probably even just to present myself is already worth it. Not necessarily to win it.
Good practice. Yeah, there are so many things I wanted to talk about with you. Also about auditions, but I think we will do it in another session. And so maybe for all the young cellists out there, so you totally would recommend for them to go to London, to experience what you experienced, like
I think, I don't know, just intuitively a bit, what came to my mind is that what does happen if you have spent a long time in somewhere else? I think in some ways it really depends on the person, but for some I think it's really a good thing to stay and like to stay in the place and to build their connections and stay in there, because it's quite a big thing to move away 6 years and you do lose somehow the network. The network. So, but on the other hand, for me, I also have a friend, for example, he just went for an Erasmus or something, which is also amazing. I think for him it was.
Just explain what is Erasmus?
Exactly. And Erasmus is a program that is in Europe. So basically, that's like an exchange. So in any European school. Music school or something. Yeah, music school, right? No, it's actually any school, right? But
in any university.
Any school, you can go for, I think, 6 months or something.
Or even for a year. Or even 2 years, I think it's possible.
Yeah, so like, like 9 months, or sorry, like for a period of time, you can go to another school. And you pay basically the tuition fees that you pay in your old school. You can go to this other, or I think they pay for this program,
right?
So the Erasmus pays for this program, and of course for me there are many things. So I think I really recommend experience this. Another big, like obviously another city. You can also go to another German city, but to learn another language, to meet another culture, and to be, obviously it does depend on the teacher a lot and the school. But,
Yeah, I think there's one. Yeah.
Yeah, just this thing of the systems are a bit different. The system, basically, England, like especially like in England, basically every musician is a freelance musician. You can have an orchestra job, but most orchestra job people do also work somewhere else. So because it's kind of not enough.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's crazy in Germany. If you are in an A orchestra, like
you're fine. You have a house,
there are even people who go doing 50%, and they're still fine.
Yeah, in England, the people work basically double. So, but you also get trained in it. So you have to be really active and. In a way, for example, for me, it's maybe personal, but coming back to England, I feel in a way I didn't lose much of a network because I find it quite easy now having experienced all this environment like London, which is so much about networking and putting yourself out. I find it easy to get into a new network, and I don't need a huge network, but so I think this has helped me to be in that environment. So it's not too difficult for me to create a new environment that I feel I have possibilities here. But this wasn't really answering the question. So you were actually really asking, do I recommend doing this kind of studies?
No, but you answered it in the way you would, in general, I think you would recommend at least do a Erasmus, do an exchange program. Whatever country you live in, it's worth to going to another country just to experience this exchange or to experience how it is to who are you actually. You will only experience this when you get out of your country and I think it's really worth it to have exactly this experience. To get a bit away of the world you might not have even seen that you're in. So you just experience a different perspective, and then it doesn't really matter how long you are. If it's just Erasmus, it might be really amazing. It's so like, especially London is so international, and I mean, you say yours as well, but somehow like London in general, like it's not just a school, but London is just it's a great city. Yes.
Yeah, like such a vibrant, and everything is in there. It's like overwhelming. I remember basically being there and just standing on the road with complete overload of information and not knowing who I am, what I'm doing, and which way I should go.
Right, left, fuck, I have to go.
I'd be just basically paralyzed by this overwhelming thing somehow. It was right, but it's also a cool thing. Anyway, basically, but
yeah, probably the most important thing is choosing the right teacher. It doesn't matter in which country, which school. You should really, I think, as a musician, the most important thing for us is to choose the right teacher.
But how do you get in? Like how to do that is the question. Also, how do you get in
do a lot of go a lot of master classes. You know, it's
master classes is a good thing. Maybe even just writing to them. Basically, I think it's writing to them, asking, "Can I come?" Maybe you can go to the school, have a few lessons, like have a lesson with this, and then see.
Right.
If it's expensive, but
no, but master classes are always a good.
Master classes are always really good.
Yeah. Okay, Leander, thank you very, very much for your time, and I think we put something like some useful, or you put some very useful information out there for
maybe
all the people who are interested in. And so have a great evening, and thank you for joining me here in this podcast.
Yeah, thanks. I was very happy to hear. Hope I could say a few useful things. It's all my personal experience. So
yeah. but you shared it with us. So thank you very much, and bye, Leonard.
Yeah, thank you. See you then.